A very warm welcome to our grade 9 learners. I trust all of you are well and keeping safe during these trying times, as well as warm on these cold wintry days. For today's lesson, I would like you to turn to page 9 of your resource pack as we focus on our section called COVID-19, the pandemic which we all are currently facing, as well as the rest of the world. To get a better insight of COVID-19, we first need to find out what is COVID-19. COVID-19 is better known as the coronavirus, can be defined as a large family of viruses that cause illness ranging from the common cold to more severe respiratory infections, as defined by the World Health Organization, or also known as the WHO. And this virus is very dangerous because it can make people very sick. The virus originated in 2019, hence the term COVID-19. Yes, and the interesting aspect of this virus is that it does not carry a name when it attacks a person. And if we do not take our precautions, we can run the risk of contracting this virus and maybe even end up being hospitalized and end up on a ventilator in order to assist us with our breathing. And as a result, you will not be able to see your family and friends. You will be kept in isolation, also known as quarantine, since the virus can be easily spread from you. And it's important to note that viruses, dear boys and girls, are microscopic parasites, generally much smaller than bacteria, and they cannot reproduce and thrive outside of a host body. So that means that they can only thrive and reproduce in a person. And the virus can only be transmitted from person to person. And yes, it affects our immune systems. And it's important to note that there are two types of immune systems, dear boys and girls. The first type is known as a strong immune system. People with strong immune systems, yes, can fight the virus off much more easily and may not even show symptoms. We may even have the virus but may not know. And these people who have the virus but do not show any symptoms until much later are known to be asymptomatic. The second type of immune system, on the other hand, is known as a weak immune system. As we get older, our immune systems weaken. That's why it is important to take immune boosting supplements in order to protect our immune system and keep it in a healthy condition. And people with a weak immune system will most probably have to be hospitalized because the immune system finds it difficult to fight the virus. Now, moving on to the symptoms of COVID-19. As you can see, they are very much similar to that of the flu, such as the dry cough, the tiredness, fever, aches and pains, a sore throat, runny nose, diarrhea, and nasal congestion. Yes, and COVID-19 as a result can be spread from an infected person to another person who is not infected. And it is spread in the form of small droplets from the nose or mouth, which are spread when a person with COVID-19 coughs or exhales, as you can see in our picture. These droplets can also land on surfaces and objects around the person. And if a person touches these surfaces with their bare hands, they will need to actually sanitize their hands or even wash their hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds before they can resume to eating or touching their face and nose or eyes. Although this is encouraged, we encourage not to touch our nose and eyes at all times or as far as possible. In order to reduce our chances of contracting COVID-19, we need to wash our hands regularly with soap and water or an alcohol-based hand sanitizer, as I have previously mentioned, for at least plus minus 20 seconds. It is also important to maintain social distance, the social distance being a meter or more between yourself and others. Avoid going to crowded places. This is telling us to avoid going out unnecessarily unless we have to, and to refrain from going to crowded places because crowded places are known to be super spreaders. As mentioned before, we are encouraged to avoid touching our eyes, nose, and mouth. And the wearing of a face mask is of utmost importance in order to prevent us inhaling the droplets from other people who could or possibly be infected. And yes, if we are unwell, it is important to seek medical attention, especially if you have a fever, a severe cough, or a struggle breathing. And the pictures also show us as well visually about how we can protect ourselves against COVID-19. Now, for the week ahead, let us now move on to activity 7 from your resource pack. And it requires you to read through the case study below and answer the questions that follow. And it talks about a man by the name of Christopher and his experience of contracting COVID-19, as well as how he possibly contracted the virus. And there are several questions from question 7.1 all the way onto page 12 to question 7.6. And I would like you to complete this activity for the week ahead. And in the new week, we shall review this activity and move on with our section on COVID-19 and onto activity 8, which will require you to design a poster on an A4 page to promote awareness about COVID-19. So, boys and girls, just to remind you for the week ahead, I would like you to complete activity 7, which involves you to read through the case study titled Christopher's Experience and answer the questions that follow from page 11 and moving on to page 12 from your resource pack. With that being said, boys and girls, do stay safe and take care. I thank you.